Welcome back to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to tell you about Kaylin Gillis.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the description for the links of all of our podcast platforms, Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends. Welcome back, everybody.
Yes. Real quick.
Yep, go ahead.
You have one more day to get in on the giveaway for St. Patrick's Day. It's courtesy of MyLaundrySolutions.com. We will be going live on YouTube tomorrow night, which is March 15th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to cover a St. Patrick's Day case and pick some winners.
Yep, so make sure you guys are subscribed to our channel, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
all of them.
Podbean, whichever one you guys are on. Actually, you know, because if every one of them that you go to and you guys subscribe to, just comment the clover, do the little clover icon, 3, 4 leaf, whatever.
Whatever you got.
Give me a GIF with the clover. Give me a meme. Give me a little leprechaun holding the clover. I don't care. Or just type the word clover or type the word shamrock. And that'll enter you guys to win one of these great prizes.
Every one is a different entry. So they add up. Boop, 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 boop. And then live, you get 2 more if you show up. So 5 winners will receive $50 cash, either by Cash App or we can do an electronic gift card. We'll announce the winners throughout the live as we go. That's the plan.
Yep.
Hopefully it works out.
Yeah. And if you guys are on the live, when you guys do the live, we're going to do 2 extra entries.
Yeah. That's 2 more on top of all the ones you've already done.
All the ones you already did. So, yeah. So go to each one of our platforms.
Yep.
Get an entry for each one, and then join us on the live, get 2 extra ones, and then we're going to draw throughout the live. And if you hear your name, throw us your Cash App tag or whatever. However you want to get your money. If you want your Cash App or whatever, throw us that cash tag, and we'll send you the money.
If you Cash App it, it's like Insta money. So you can have drinks on us.
You're dang right.
Who don't want that?
Yeah, so come on.
Just make sure you cheers to Murder with the Missus.
Absolutely. And video it and then tag us in it.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so come and try and win this green for on St. Patty's Day.
Get your green.
Yep.
Now, sometimes, even with maps on our phones, we can still get lost. Me especially. Now, we've turned around in a driveway or 2 in our days. And these days with food delivery services and even Amazon delivery drivers bring like their regular cars. You never know when someone's going to be pulling into your driveway. And sometimes we get the neighbor's delivery, so I speak for experience.
Yep.
You can ask what's going on and send them about their way. All is good, right? Well, sometimes it's a dangerous situation. And that's what this case is about. I know you're not a big fan of cases that have a lot of names involved, and this is going to be one of those cases, so just warning you. But at the end of the day, this is about 20-year-old Kaylin Gillis. She was raised in and graduated from high school in Schuylerville, New York. I think I did that right the first time. Score. She was a former competitive cheerleader, honor student, and artist. She was an animal lover and had a dream of becoming either a marine biologist or a veterinarian when she went to college in Florida. She liked them animals.
Well, I mean, sounds like she's smart too.
Oh, yeah. She was smart. And she had been with her boyfriend, Blake, for 4 years. He says that they used to refer to each other as the 2%. And that's the percentage of high school sweethearts who get married. So there you go, babe. We're in the 2% club. Now on Saturday. That was so lame. But I love it. Now, on Saturday, April 15th of 2023, they were hanging out at Blake's parents' house with 5 other friends. Now, it was unseasonably warm in April, so they were out and about already. All their friends were mostly 18 to 20 years old, and there was one 16-year-old there. They do refer to these 7 as teenagers throughout the case. I will refer to them as the friends because they're mostly adults. They were drinking, and Blake, along with 2 others, allegedly smoked some weed earlier that night. Now, a friend of theirs was having a party at his house on Patterson Road in the Salem, Hebron area, which I think I pronounced that right too. They know of the area, but not the exact location of the house. But they feel like that they could find it. So they loaded up, took some of that weed and drinks, and headed out. Blake drove his mom's Ford Explorer, Kayla in the passenger seat, Alexandra was sitting behind her in the back seat, and Jacob was in the middle seat in the back, so the seat behind Blake was empty. 2 others were in another SUV, and Rory was on his motorcycle.
What kind of motorcycle?
They just said it was a 81 Yamaha.
Yamaha.
Now he had his earbuds in and he had his helmet on, and he was cruising in the middle of their little caravan. They get out to Patterson Road at around 9:45. They turn up a driveway that they think is the right place. It's about a 1/4 mile long, it's windy, and it's dark. They get to where they can see a house, and they stop about 30 yards from it. It's up on a higher part of the land, so there's about a 23-foot difference in elevation between them and the house. Now, this house is also dark, so it doesn't look like anyone's home, much less having a party. Rory kept going up to the house to check behind it, and as he gets closer, he realizes that this is definitely not the right place. And the cars have had to do a 3-point turn to head back down the driveway, so they pull up back towards the house, and then they head back down the driveway the way they came in. They also have to do this one at a time because it's, 2 big SUVs and 1 little narrow driveway. As Rory is turning around, his bike stalls. I mean, it's an older bike, but I believe they said that he was also in 3rd gear, so that caused it to stall. He had to throttle to get it back going and head back down the driveway. A light came on in the house and a man stepped out onto the deck. Now, a nearby resident said that he watched these vehicles ascend the steep driveway. They had their lights on, and then he saw the motorcycle turn and start to descend the driveway. And then he heard a pop. Several seconds of silence, and then a second pop. He and his wife originally thought that it was fireworks.
So, I mean, in your stories, there's never fireworks.
Right. It's not fireworks.
Yeah.
And it's never mannequins.
No.
So a lot of people say when they find a body, it looked like a mannequin. It's not a mannequin. I can almost always tell you. And this was not fireworks. It was a shotgun. Now, the second shot went through the Ford Explorer at the metal column between the rear passenger seat and the window. Pieces of stuff were flying inside the SUV, so people inside of it were screaming. Blake was yelling to ask if everyone was all right because, as he described it, he just heard a loud pop and metal breaking. He actually ducked down while he was trying to pull out of the driveway. They don't get a signal on their phones out there. That's why they didn't just call their friend to see if they were at the right house. But the friends pull out their phones to turn on their flashlights. Kaylin is slumped against the door and is unresponsive. Using the flashlight, they can see that she is bleeding from the left side of her neck, and Jacob puts his hand on her neck. When they pull out of the driveway, Rory went right while the SUVs turned left. Now, they're having to head towards Salem to try to find a hospital or even a phone signal. Rory looks back and sees what he thinks are the headlights or the tail lights of the SUVs going the other direction, so he turned and tried to catch up, but he couldn't. He did end up getting a hold of another friend who came and met him and led him to the party house. The party house was just a couple 100 feet down the road, so they just hadn't gone far enough before they turned into that driveway. They were so close.
So where'd the other friends end up?
Okay, so they had to drive about 5 miles away before they could get a signal on their phone.
Yeah.
And they had called 911 twice, but it wasn't going through. But it was enough for 911 to be able to see that there was a call trying to come in. So protocol was to call back, but the call just went to voicemail. So it was a 4th call that the friends finally got through. They said that Kaylin had been shot in the neck, and they believed that she was dead. They were also lost, so they couldn't give an exact location for help to come get them. The operator told them to pull up the map, get their phone out and pull the map up to see if it showed any kind of landmarks or location stuff that they could give to them to give them an idea of where they were. Because right now they know the road they're on, but they don't really know much else. So they couldn't see street signs or anything like that. They're in a panic. The operator told them to do the map on their phone and then also to stop the car and get Kaylin out so they could try CPR. They pulled over on Cemetery Road and Jacob started CPR. Blake stayed in the car so that he wasn't in the way. Kaylin, as you've probably already guessed, did not survive. There was a first responder in the area, so he got there pretty quick and said that there was nothing that they could do. She was already gone. Now, while that operator was on the phone with the friends, other operators were getting calls from the people that heard the shots and seen the vehicles going up and down the road. One of those calls was from that neighbor who thought that they had heard the fireworks. So he was able to tell them where this was happening, and police were dispatched to Kevin's house. Now, Kevin is the guy that they turned into his driveway. His name is Kevin Monahan. Now, all the lights, by the time the cops get there, all the lights in his house are on. And they're in his driveway yelling at him to come outside, but he won't. And they see him walking around inside talking on the phone.
What, to his lawyer?
Not right then.
No.
He had actually called 911 himself and was talking to an operator.
Because of the shooting?
No. He called because there was a big bright light being shown into his house. The front of his house is floor-to-ceiling windows. We have pictures of it on the screen right now if you're watching. If not, you can see it on the thumbnail or we'll post pictures on Facebook. But he's got these floor-to-ceiling windows on this house. So as they shine the light up there, it's like he's in a fishbowl. It's straight into him. And he's pissed. The operator is trying to maintain communication and diffuse the situation since they know that he just shot and killed somebody. But Kevin doesn't know that they know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyways, she tries to get him to go outside and talk to the cops, saying that they're there because they got a noise complaint. He said the noise was probably hunters with dogs out in the woods. It definitely wasn't him because he said he had been in bed since 8:30 and asleep, saying, "I've been sound asleep. I'm an old man. I wish they'd get out of my yard so I could go back to bed."
How
So
do you know they was in his yard?
No, these are the cops.
If he was, no, I'm talking about the guy. He said, "I'm an old man. I've been sound asleep since 8:30.
Yeah. He's saying he wants the cops out of his yard
Oh,
because they're the ones in the driveway shining the light through his window.
I got you.
And he's like, "Tell him to get off my land." Ugh. So he gets off the phone with the operator and finally called his lawyer. Now, after what they call a 1-hour standoff, he finally gave it up and went outside. He was eventually arrested after they talked to him. He was arraigned the next day, April 16th, and was briefly held in the Washington County Correctional Facility. But Kaylin's dad is a correctional officer there, so he was transported to another jail very quickly. At that arraignment, though, he did plead not guilty to second-degree murder and was denied bond. The prosecutor at the bond hearing told the judge that Kevin is confrontational and hot-tempered. In May, he was indicted for additional charges of reckless endangerment and tampering with evidence, and you'll find out why here in a little bit. And they also lowered the intentional murder charge to reckless depraved indifference murder. I don't know that, but...
Okay.
Now let's talk about what kind of person Kevin was.
All right. I mean, I already have a pretty good idea of it.
Yeah. Well, he had a DWI conviction when he was 22 years old, but that was 40 some odd years ago. He had a prior arrest in Vermont for aggravated assault with a weapon in 2001, but the charges were later dismissed on that case. Neighbors said he was frequently hostile, sour, and sometimes aggressive. I don't think I've ever described someone as sour. So that told me a lot right there.
So he's just a grouchy.
A curmudgeon. They said that.
Curmudgeon. Wow.
They said that he barked at their dogs. So he's that guy that barks back.
Wow.
Yeah.
I knew a kid that did that once.
It's just weird. He scolded a local church and was so averse to unannounced visitors that he had at one time put up a chain at the end of his driveway. Sounds like a plan, Kevin. They also make gates. Maybe you can look into one of those too.
I mean, you know, people do it every day.
Every day. If you don't want people at your house, put up a fucking gate.
Yeah. Well, we do want to take a moment to play an ad from our sponsors. So hang with us. We'll be right back. Just hang tight.
Yeah. Do you or someone you know live in an apartment community? Are you balling on a budget? Make your money work for you.
Some apartments don't even offer a washer and dryer included in the lease. If you want that life, you need to contact My Laundry Solutions.
They service areas in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Texas. Their newest location is in Fort Worth, with more locations opening in Texas in 2025 and 2026. Check the website for locations near you. There's no credit check, Every contract includes free local service. They professionally install, and your account is available 24/7 online. Go to your leasing office, go to mylaundrysolutions.com, or call 800-535-4411.
Stop wasting your hard-earned money at the laundromat and give My Laundry Solutions a call today. Yeah, give them a call.
Yeah.
Because the other day our dryer went out and I had to order a new belt and some other stuff, and I had our dryer all tore apart.
Would have rather just called somebody.
The whole thing is like, I'm a jack of all trades and master of none.
He knows a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
A lot of it about everything.
But I got it fixed.
And they're also sponsoring our giveaway. But
the whole thing is like with them, if your dryer goes out, you just call them.
Yeah.
And they'll send a technician out to you.
That's right.
So anyway.
I love that.
So what did they get into with the church about?
Oh, why do you fight with the church?
Yeah, why do you fight with the church?
I guess they had a basketball court thousands of feet away from his house, but they had put up some floodlights so that they could play in the dark. And like I said, the front of his house is almost all windows. So that bothered him. Mm-hmm. And he said that they did it on purpose, I guess, just to piss him off. You know how them church people are. So this should give everyone a pretty good idea of who we're dealing with. Now let's go to court. Prosecution opened saying that the sum total of time that the friends were in the location, meaning in his driveway, was less than 3 minutes. One of those teens saw Kevin on the porch, and they said that the silhouette of the gun was in his left hand. So they knew he had a gun when they were trying to leave. They hear a shot, and they're just starting down the driveway when they heard the second shot. Prosecution said that Kevin went back into the house with his wife, Jinx, for about 20 to 25 minutes before police arrived, meaning that he had plenty of time to change his clothes. Also, there were no fingerprints on the grip of the gun, so he had time to wipe that. And there were no shotgun shells found on the scene from those 2 shots from a 20-gauge shotgun, so he had time to do whatever he did with those. He had plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
They point out that on his call with 911, he didn't sound nervous and his voice wasn't shaking like he was scared. He just wanted the cops to leave so he could go back to bed. Now, the DA said, to be indifferent is to not care. There's no intentional murder in this case. This is a case about somebody who has recklessly caused the death of another person with depraved indifference to human life. So he may not have meant to kill her, but what he did resulted in her death.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably accidental.
Right. Well,
he was probably doing it more to scare him.
Right.
Than anything. But I mean, anyway, how does Kevin explain his side?
He said that he felt like he was under siege.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he's back in Nam.
Yeah, he's having the flashbacks.
Okay. Sorry.
He said the first shot was a warning shot that he fired up in the air. But the second shot happened when the gun...
And that's not a dig at anybody. I was just,
It's just a joke.
It's just a joke. Don't take that personal.
WW-nom.
Yeah. Yeah, we always say WW-nom.
Now, the second shot, he said, happened when the gun fired on its own. In the defense's opening, they said that the state ballistic expert would testify that when they were doing their tests, the gun fired without them pulling the trigger. They said Kevin and Jinx were elderly and fell asleep watching TV in bed. Kevin woke up to the sound of the motorcycle revving its engine in the driveway. He gave Jinx a revolver and some bullets and told her to hide in the closet. He goes out onto the wraparound deck and sees 2 SUVs about 100 feet away, blocking the way out of his house for this old man and old woman.
So he's up on the porch.
He's up on the porch. He has a wraparound deck.
No, I'm saying the SUVs are up on the porch.
No, they're about 100 feet away. They were trying to back out and leave.
I'm saying they're blocking their way from leaving.
That's what he said.
I mean, They keep talking about him being old. How old was he?
So at trial, he was 66.
Okay.
So he was probably 65 when this happened because it happened in 23. He went to trial in 24. So they're making it like, we'll talk about that too. They're really laying it on thick. Just count how many times they called him old. Now, they say that he put on some flip-flops and went outside. He said the motorcycle was about 20 feet away. So he held the gun up just held it up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And the attorney said, "It's like a rattlesnake rattle. It's a warning. Stay back. I can defend myself. Please leave now." Now, he never actually said anything to them, like, "Who are you? What do you want? I have a gun." Not a word. He just held up a gun in the dark, and that was his warning.
Okay.
And he said Rory didn't even acknowledge it, probably because he didn't see it, Kevin. And he just headed back down the driveway, stopping at the parked SUVs. Kevin moved to the side of the wraparound deck and fired a warning shot into the air. The motorcycle started to leave. The SUVs got closer to the house before they started to leave. So this would be the 3-point turn that
That's
they
what I'm saying.
keep
So
talking
they was
about.
backing up.
Yeah, so they would have to pull up away from his house, back towards it, and then back down the driveway. Because the driveway actually runs in front of his house and then wraps around to the side of it. You might be able to see it in the pictures.
Yeah. I mean, the picture, you can kind of see the picture of it.
I'll put some more up so that you guys can see what I'm talking about, the area.
We'll post a bigger one on Facebook.
Yeah.
Where you guys can go and subscribe.
Right.
And put the clover.
Go and subscribe.
To enter to win.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Anyway.
So the attorney says he's walking, he's looking, and he's walking, and he's looking.
Okay.
He stumbles and he bangs the gun and it goes off.
Mm-hmm.
So they say that he tripped over a nail that was sticking out of that wooden deck.
Oh, God.
Yes. And then hit the gun on something and it went off on accident. The SUV leaves and Kevin thinks to himself, "Thank God nobody got hurt." He went inside to Jinx and hugs her because she's crying and sobbing, and he tells her that it's over. And the attorney said, "We know that these are teenagers and not a band of marauding bikers." Kevin didn't know that.
Yeah, because there's one 81 model Yamaha.
Yeah.
That's not really a biker gang.
Marauding bikers.
And it's probably like a 125 too. It's probably not like one of them loud Yamahas either.
Right. Well, so there's actually video. You can watch video online of like a surveillance camera from a neighboring house, and you can see them going down the road. And the prosecutor actually played a clip of them driving, and he was like, "Listen." And so everybody's like,
it's like,
and he said, "That was that super loud motorcycle," and you could barely hear it.
It's like,
yeah. Yeah. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
The lawyer also said, "You will have to decide if there's an evilness, a wickedness, a wantonness, a heinous disregard for the value."
Wantonness?
Yes.
That's a word?
It is a
what
real
does it
word.
mean?
The same thing as the other ones do.
What does wantonness mean?
An evil, wicked person.
I have never heard that.
Wonton. He eats wontons.
I eat wontons all the time. As a matter of fact, I had wontons today. Well, you'll see this Friday, so it'd been last Saturday.
Yeah.
But
last Saturday I had a wonton.
Yeah, last Saturday I had a wonton. Right. But yeah, use that in a sense. You acting like a wantonous person right now.
A heinous disregard for the value of human life. Or was he a dumb, scared old man with a defective gun that will shoot when no one pulls the trigger? When there's a tragedy and a victim, everyone wants a villain. But sometimes they're just tragedies and victims, and there are no villains. And this is one of those times.
Oh, yeah. Laying on thick.
I mean, he was trying to write a book, like a novel.
He's painting a Bob Ross picture.
Yes. So they're saying that he only intentionally shot one time up in the air. Mm-hmm. But Alexandra said when she saw the gun, it was pointed at them.
Yep.
The prosecution said that Kevin had an irrational rage towards trespassers. One of Kevin's neighbors said he got more and more upset in recent years because of people turning around in his driveway. I mean, not enough to leave that chain up at the end of the driveway, though, I guess. He did have 2 signs on a tree at the end of the driveway that said it was private property, but the friends didn't see them in the dark. Like, they asked them, "Did you see these?" And they're like, "No. Nope."
Plus, they was going somewhere where they was invited.
Right.
So it's probably easily where they was. I mean, because what'd you say? They wasn't too far away from where they was going, right?
Hundreds of feet
Yeah.
further past this
So
driveway.
they
would
was
hit it.
literally like a couple houses off.
Exactly.
So.
And if I told a new friend of mine to come to my house, I wouldn't expect them to turn around and leave if they saw my no trespassing sign.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, y'all are invited to my house, but do not.
But don't come here.
Don't turn into Kevin's.
Don't go to Kevin's house.
Because he's freaking crazy.
He's wild.
He will shoot in the air.
Yes, he will trip with his flip flops on a nail.
Yeah,
and shoot
He's
you.
very, very clumsy. He might shoot you.
Yeah, be careful. And the friends, of course, all took the stand at the trial. Most of what I've told you about their side of things came from their testimonies. But he was also asked, like Blake, he was on stand and he was asked about the drugs and alcohol in his car. And he told them that he was sober at the time. But he also had a little discrepancy in his statements that they brought up. The night of the incident, he said in his sworn statement that he saw the lights go on in the house, realized it was the wrong house, and then started to turn around.
There you go.
On the stand, he said he only saw the lights go on after he had begun that 3-point turn to leave. So if you want to call that a big discrepancy, okay.
All right.
It doesn't change what happened, but.
Yeah, but that's not a big difference.
Right.
I mean.
Right. It's not big. It's just, they're just trying to get the timeline down right as to when he started shooting at them.
Yeah.
Now, Rory testified that when he heard the first shot, he thought it was his motorcycle backfiring. Like he literally thought it was himself. Maxwell from the other SUV said in his sworn statement from that night that they had begun to turn around after they heard the first shot. But on the stand, he said he heard the first shot between points 2 and 3 of that 3-point turn. Yeah. Here's my thing. I can honestly say that if someone is shooting at me, like if they shoot at me once,
Yeah.
I'm not going to back my car towards their house. So my brain thinks that they're already turning when he shot that first time. So they are trying to leave when he shoots at them. That's what happens in my brain.
Yeah.
It's just, maybe that's me.
Yeah. So, I mean, is it a double barrel shotgun? Is it a single barrel?
That's another thing. The pictures I saw and the way they all described it, this was a single barrel pump. So he would have had to reload for that second shot.
No, not if it's a pump.
He'd just have to pump it.
Nope. If it's okay.
Explain it to me.
It can be a breakover.
It's not. It was a pump.
Okay. So that would be just a regular shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a pump shotgun.
Right.
Which means it holds more than one bullet.
It does. Okay.
Okay. So that's not a single.
So how do you?
Okay. So I see what you're saying. Single barrel. Yeah. So it's just one. Okay. Single barrel pump. Okay. I got you.
Right.
But
he wouldn't have to reload.
Okay.
That's where I got you.
He would not have to reload.
Okay. So but would he have to pump to exit the other shell?
Well, yeah. One.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he would have to pump.
He would have to exit he would have to get rid of the shell, eject the shell in order for the next shell to reload.
Right.
It
wouldn't be like I shot and then accidentally bumped it and it shot a second time. Because that's what he's saying has happened.
No.
Right.
No. Now, if it was a double barrel.
Right.
And he had 2 bullets in and he shot one.
Then it could happen.
Yeah, because it's a double trigger.
Right.
That could happen. But if it's a pump shotgun, just a regular pump shotgun, then it's just as fast and as many times however many bullets you got in it.
Right. But it doesn't just reload that second bullet with the first shell still in it.
No, he reloaded.
Exactly.
If that's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything I saw said that's what it was. So
yeah, so I mean, he would have had to planned to shoot more than once.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because he would have had to eject, and if he hadn't ejected, he couldn't have shot the second time. Now he's leaving all that part out of his story because
he was on a mission. He was on a mission to scare whoever the hell was in his driveway because he was being cantankerous.
You're learning all the words.
He was
today.
just being freaking
curmudgeon.
Yeah,
that was the other one.
Curmudgeon. He's being a grumpy old man.
So they said, remember they said
he's not even that old.
He's not even that old.
No.
Opening statements from his defense attorney. Remember they said we're going to have this expert come up here. He's going to tell you that that gun shot without the trigger being pulled when they were testing it. So that forensic expert does get on the stand and does say that they did a drop test on the gun and it did go off.
Okay.
And that's exactly what it sounds like. They just drop it, and when it makes impact with the floor, it shoots.
Yep. I mean, that could happen with any gun.
But that's a big drop. I mean, there's a difference in bumping up against a railing.
That can happen with any gun.
Yes. But she couldn't say if the safety was on or not when they did the test. So I don't know what you want to do with that. She did also say that the gun showed that there were no signs of it being defective.
But when they did that test, they had to reload the shell into the barrel.
Right.
In order for it to do
go
that.
off. Right.
Okay.
So we're still on the same page.
So that proves that he did load that gun up.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Now, his wife, Jinx, testified that Kevin woke her up and told her to go into the closet while he went to investigate. She heard him go downstairs to the first floor and opened the door to the deck. She heard the motorcycle revving, which is what Kevin said is what woke him up. And then he woke her up. Make that make sense.
Okay.
She heard one shot and then another. And then they went downstairs and sat at the kitchen table and talked about how scared she was until the cops got there. She said that she did not know that it was Kevin who shot.
Yeah. He was probably in there like, babe, you scared, right? You scared, right? I mean, you scared to death, right?
So you say
that they went back downstairs.
They went back downstairs, and that's what got me too. Yeah. So she was supposedly upstairs in the closet the whole time. Kevin went downstairs and all this went down. The gun was found leaned up against the bed upstairs with bullets on the table next to it. So how did she not know that he had shot that gun? He has a gun. She knows he has a gun. Hell, he gave her a gun.
Yeah.
But she didn't know that he had shot that gun. You could smell it. I guarantee you could smell it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever shot a gun, but you can smell gunpowder. Anyways.
And they probably didn't test it.
Well, I don't know. So he had to go back upstairs is what I'm trying to say. So he was downstairs, did the shooting, did whatever. The cars leave. He goes back upstairs, gets Jinx out of the closet, and then they go downstairs. But the friends say that they saw another figure in the window when Kevin was on the deck. And that would have had to have been Jinx on the first floor when the shooting happened. So was she in the closet upstairs, or was she downstairs next to her husband?
She was downstairs with that revolver.
Yep. Now we talked about them pushing the old man angle. We've talked about that a lot. But he was in there literally talking about motocross racing and construction work. So they were really laying that old man thing on pretty damn thick. They said that he couldn't have fired the second shot intentionally because he has an old injury to his wrist. But again, if he couldn't rack a shotgun, he probably wouldn't be able to race motocross.
And there were no fingerprints on the grip of the gun.
Right. They found some stuff on the gun itself, but it was inconclusive. And they had someone testify that she was able to tell that Kevin had handled that gun. And they could also tell that he hadn't used any chemical agents to try to clean it up. But there was still no fingerprints on the grip. So he obviously had to take those off. That, along with the 2 missing shells, because police were unable, they even used dogs to try to find those 2 spent shell casings, and they could not find them. And these aren't little, they're not little like gun bullets from a pistol.
No,
these are shotgun shells.
Yeah.
Yeah, big, round, mostly bright colored, yellow. I believe his were yellow. So either way, this is how he got the tampering with evidence charge, because he obviously did something with those shells and he obviously wiped his fingerprints off of it. The defense said the cops just weren't good at their jobs and that they didn't look good enough. What? They had dogs. Anyways.
Yeah.
Either way, Kevin tried to cover it up. And then he lied to the cops. So why lie about it? If you really feel like you had done right and you'd done the right thing and you were just trying to scare them and it was all an accident, why lie about it? He did testify, and I was not a fan. And maybe it's because he put off like this air of righteousness. I don't know. But the jury wasn't a fan either. They deliberated for 2 hours before delivering a guilty verdict across the board on January 23rd of 2024. Now, at his sentencing on March 1st, the judge said a lot, so bear with me while I tell you the highlights. He said, "Your first instinct was to lie about what happened, and you repeatedly lied in such a cold and calculating manner, and the jury saw right through your lies, and they rejected them. In killing Kaylin Gillis, you took away a friend, you took away a girlfriend, you took away a daughter, a granddaughter, and a sibling. You took away so much unrealized potential. Her potential to enrich other people's lives and to contribute to our society. It's obvious to me that you feel justified. You don't take any responsibility for the outcome of your actions. You just don't get it. The first thing you do on the witness stand when you come up here and testify is you made a joke to the jury about them finally being able to see your face." He had been wearing a face mask the whole time.
Huh.
"You senselessly took the life of Kaylin Gillis, and you have the gall to sit here and talk about how you plan to finish up the work on your house and race motocross in the future. You don't deserve that. What would make you think you deserve those things? Any remorse you have isn't from the harm you've caused. The only regret you have is that you're finally facing consequences of your actions. You murdered Kaylin Gillis. You shot at a car full of people, and you didn't care what would happen. And you repeatedly lied about it. You deserve to spend the maximum amount of time in prison allowable under our law. And I don't make this decision because it's easy. I make it because it's what's deserved. I make it because it's what's just."
Yeah. And he had a lot to say about it.
He had a lot to say about it.
Yep. Good.
A lot of times they just say the sentence and move along. They're ready to get out. They're done.
Yeah.
They've been in trial. They're ready to go home. But not this guy. This guy was like, "Let me tell you a thing or two." And he did. He sentenced Kevin to 25 years to life for the murder charge and 1 1/3 to 4 years for tampering with evidence. The reckless endangerment will run concurrent, so it doesn't really count, but the tampering will run consecutively. So,
Well, he gone.
yep, bye. Now, Andrew, Kaylin's dad, filed a wrongful death lawsuit in August of 2023 for $5 million. Kevin's homeowner's insurance company threw a fit because that's a lot more than his policy amount of $300,000. And they argued to be removed from the lawsuit because that was to cover accidents, and this was not that. The suit is still ongoing from what I see, but the Monahans are not allowed to sell or transfer any of their assets while the suit is pending. And boyfriend Blake also filed a suit against Kevin and Jinx for emotional distress. Like I couldn't even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we are on this case. He gone. He gone.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, you know, I understand like people, you know, because we live at the end of a road.
We do.
I mean, there's one way in, one way out.
Yep.
There's no reason whatsoever that anybody should ever be coming down here if they don't know us.
Right.
But when they do,
It happens.
it happens. I don't go out there and get pissed off and try to shoot their windows out or any of that crap.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I do have a gun on me, but that's just for my own protection.
You're not out there wielding it around. Like
I'm not out there showing it to them. It's only for my own protection, just so I can be like, "Hey, how y'all doing?"
what's
and everything.
going on?
Yeah, what's up? You know, most of the time they're just in the wrong damn spot, and I can point them in the right damn direction.
Yep.
But that's the whole point. Just because they're on the property, it doesn't mean that they're doing it on purpose.
Exactly.
I mean,
There's no wantonness.
obviously they was just at the wrong fucking
They
place.
were just lost. Literally a couple houses away from where they were supposed to be.
And this guy right here, he fucked around and he found out.
Yeah. It's so sad. And she had to die. It's just.
And he was probably one of them guys was just like, "You ain't gonna mess with me, and it's my property." I guarantee he was
so cocky during the trial that I wanted to punch him in the face.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the whole thing. Unless they was in your house.
Yeah, it's
unless this happened in your house.
There's laws.
There is laws.
Mm-hmm. So that people can't do shit like this.
Yeah. And I mean, and they was driving away.
They were. That was the whole point.
That makes it even worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he shot him from behind.
That's basically like shooting a person in the back.
Yeah, he basically did.
I mean,
It went through the car, through the back of Blake's seat. If somebody had been sitting there behind Blake, they would have been the one that was hit.
So, I mean, judge made it, that jury and the judge, even though the judge said the whole damn story, but
he was mad.
you know what? I don't blame him because he got what he wanted off his chest.
He did.
And good for him because at least this one right here, the judge was actually paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
Because our last one, the judge was just kind of, I don't know, bored with life, I guess.
I don't know.
But
she
anyway,
kind of talked like this the whole time.
So, and you watched that whole thing and you was just like, good Lord. But I didn't. But anyway.
He said, I'm glad I don't have that job.
I probably would have been over passed out in the chair if I was sitting there watching it.
Y'all could have napped together.
But
hopefully she's sharper than I'm going to put faith in that.
Yeah.
Now, if you like our content, please subscribe, like, share, tell your friends. We do have Cash App, which has been giving us a little trouble. I tried changing it to #MWTM pod because I don't think I like the word murder being in the hashtag, or our email, dna.truecrime@gmail.com. It could be looked up that way too. If you're having trouble, just message us. We'll send you the link, or the link is in our description of our YouTube and Facebook. So,
yeah, we also have Buy Me a Coffee at buymeacoffee.com/MWTM. And you guys, don't forget to tell your friends.
Tell them.
And make sure that you guys tell your friends. You guys go and subscribe on all of our platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure you guys reply Clover, Shamrock. Mm-hmm. Give me a 4-leaf. Give me a 3-leaf. Give me a leprechaun holding it. I don't care. And enter to win one of these $50 gift cards.
Yeah.
And we will send it to you.
Yes.
All right. Well, we will see you guys on the live tomorrow.
Till next time.
Bye.